So, welcome back to Darkness Over Dublin, the Changeling venue, where we are setting the scene autumnside in the little grotto that Pepper has returned to, because it is inevitably where she returns to. She's had time to work on the library. She's made sure that she was properly polite about borrowing some gardening tools, and yeah, she is doing the weirdest shit because if Brides is serious about getting a caravan and they want to be able to sleep in it, but she wants to be able to tend to this tiny spark of a balefire, she needs to be able to do it here. That means that if she wants to sleep in the caravan needs to be able to get here. And seeing as this is, well, surrounded by quite the array of brambles, among other things, it's a bit of a chore clearing out that one clear area. Well, bramble free area to the point that a vehicle could roll through it. So Bambi has been hard at work, apologizing to the plants as she does so, but pulling various things up and pointedly setting them aside on another bit of earth so that the roots can regrow, so that she's not being outright destructive. She's doing her best to avoid clipping or snapping things. But yeah, now that she's gotten a hold of things like a trowel, a shovel, etc., she is right there in the area where one would generally walk in, carefully trying to coax various plants surrounded by a clod of earth out of the ground and set them elsewhere, either in the grove or out in another clear area. But all in all, just kind of trying to at least start getting this shit ready, because otherwise, how are they ever going to get the caravan here? So yeah, she is probably like on the ground, covered in dirt, digging and coaxing and trying to pop up yet another piece of shrub that is not complying with her attempts. And yeah, that her and that trowel man, they're gonna be best friends soon.
Coming up the lane, whistling merrily, absolutely merrily, is the 7 foot giant known as the Rides the Lightning. Um, Whistling quite merrily, he kicks his way over some bramble, not doing any permanent damage. As he vaults over, he just seems unusually happy here, like whistling away. As Bradley can hear him humming away. She's coming away to the woods. I'll put the song in the side shot. What he's humming. There you go. As he is humming away, walking his way down,
No.
probably bumping into a tree, like, what the fucking.
Yeah. Ironically, Bambi is not in the thing like he might expect. So it's very possible that he's going to come around a shrub and practically trip on her since she's down on the ground, and she can hear him coming, but she doesn't necessarily think to say anything. Why would he not see her? Probably because he's 7 feet tall, but
Yeah, she feel the thud beside her hand, and then like he steps up, probably walks, actually keeps walking over her, doesn't even notice she's there. He's walking by.
I mean, she'll make it a little harder to miss her when the big old boot thuds down right next to her hand. There's the kind of like the little
Looks down.
chimerically. Normally there's just kind of the gasp of like, oh, my hand, that was close, but she kind of jerks back.
Looks down. What the fuck are you doing down there?
I was trying to clear some of just kind of waves around them with the trowel.
Oh, I thought you were riding somebody.
What?
Grins.
Who else
Big
would
cheesy
have been
grin.
here? Jerk.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe your boyfriend.
Because I've got so many.
Oh yeah. Chuckling again, like the bopping up and shoulder bopping up and down.
She kind of, pouts out her lips in that like, yeah, uh-huh kind of way. But finally, grabs hold of the trowel, wipes some more dirt off on her face, kind of scrubbing the sweat off of her forehead, and starts pulling herself up. Nope, nope, not here. None of the rest of them need to be anywhere near this. Nope. Kinky things happen here.
Spend some willpower. Spend the point of dross. No successes. He listens down at the trees and all that and just cranes his head and just nods to himself. You do realize you'll eventually piss them off doing that?
I'm trying not to be nasty about it.
You could explain what you're doing.
Oh. I mean, I've kind of tried. I don't know if they hear me.
You could just explain it. You stand around going, Guardians of the forest, woodlands of the trees. Today I clear paths, not to give you nothing but a simple breeze. Some things are small, some things are great. But now I need to clear a way to help me protect my frowns, trying to think of a rhyming word. Protect yourself.
There's kind of a hopeless shrug.
Sometimes the forest likes to hear it. Taps the side of his head.
I've been talking. I just never hear anything back. Kind of like that flower. I mean, I talk or try.
Sometimes I can hear the forest. We wink.
There's a bit of a smirk. But no, it's gonna be really slow going, and I'm really good at making things grow, but I'm not very good at asking them to move, so...
Well, you could just, for every bit you clear out, promise to do the very next day, you promise to grow it back over.
The next day?
Or plant a new thing somewhere else. That way the cycle continues.
And she'll gesture over to where, like, it's kind of ironic because she's trying to do a good thing, but she's also trying to be thoughtful. So she's digging up, the clods of earth around them instead of leaving them just bare rooted out. So there are a number of, smaller shrubs and plants that she has managed to like coax up, and she set them aside so that, with some stomping down, they could probably just break through again, still having earth around their roots and everything, and just keep right on. But as a result, she is leaving the equivalent of potholes.
Bambi.
What?
You realize driving up this will be like literally jumping into the middle of a house Baylor castle and going, hey!
A frown?
The potholes will kill me. And the caravan.
I'm gonna figure it out.
I just haven't figured
it out yet.
She just gets the most condescending pat on the head, like, I'm sure you will, honey.
I'm already so deep in study on something else. I could work on this, but I don't know. Can you?
What the hell do you want me to do it for?
I mean, there are ways. Just like talking to them, you can ask them to shift and move.
I'm the one getting the caravan. I can probably have a talk with them, listen to them whisper and complain, but I'm the one getting the caravan, Missy.
Tiny frown.
You're the one who's like, we could bring it here.
Well, I can't just leave it unattended.
Well, there you go then. It's your responsibility. It is you have to do your job yourself. Can't have me doing everything for you, Bambi. Even though I do it too.
I'm asking you to do the whole thing for me.
I think although I am helping, I'm getting you the caravan. And I'm doing a lot more than helping because I got a plan.
A plan?
Mm-hmm. Protection, that's why.
What kind of plan?
You see, I'm going to be a knight eventually, right?
Yeah. That's kind of...
So, let me finish, Frowny Stibbies. There's going to eventually someone's going to find here. It's just basic mathematics. But when they do, this place is always going to be yours, right? Always. But if they come here, I can say this place is mine, so they don't throw you off.
As much as she's been pulling the stubborn face, and as much as it is kind of kind of funny to see her pull the expression with, dirt smeared on her face. She still like does the look up through the eyelashes like, you do that for me?
Mm-hmm.
And she like does the whole like it's kind of a leap for her, but she'll still jump up to give him a hug.
Just a little grunt.
I mean, she's practically hanging from his neck to do it, but
Looks down at her. I just thought, keeps you safe and keeps you on the land and nobody bothers you.
that would be perfect.
Grins.
I mean, hopefully people just don't, but I guess
I'm just saying it's a
time.
it's a failsafe. And plus to be like, well, why'd you have her here? Because I want to have her here. Got a problem? Puts on my knuckles. He pretends to mock square up.
She having dropped off will just kind of hopefully poke up the trowel. Clearly, I work here.
There you go.
Look at how good I'm doing. Kind of gestures at the.
Or maybe I just like to take out my person that I like to bang every now and again to a nice quiet place. Wink as he's chuckling to himself.
Or, that is also a reason.
There you go then. Multiple reasons.
That didn't work.
He says he's whistling, walking over to a log. Like you'd swear he almost clicked his heels together.
She'll follow behind and eventually set the trowel. There's a couple more tools that she's gotten a hold of, set not far from that little. I mean, it's kind of like a glorified puddle, really. It's not that it's especially deep. It's not that it's especially broad. It's just constant. And she'll, go ahead and set the trowel down there and actually take a moment and rinse her hands off in the pool, which, of course, completely illogically stays clear. We'll even take a second, let the water still up, and like lean over to look and kind of grimace a little, pick up a handful and use it to scrub at her face. Get herself back up to wander over to join him, flicking water off her face and hands.
Sitting there tapping his foot away.
You are in a really good mood.
Really good. Not being a good mood? Am I not allowed?
You are in an unusually good mood. It's not an accusation, it's an observation.
Just saying I'm in a good mood. Thought I'd come see my favorite deer, Bambi.
Oh, is that all? She will pop down, on top of one of his legs as opposed to on the log. Pop across his lap. And it's got you in that good a mood.
Oh, yeah.
It's that good to be able to follow up sleeping in a bed.
Just grins to himself, looking around. Just a good day.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Reach up and pat his shaggy cheek.
You feel fuzz.
Yup.
Just looks off in the distance. He just seems to smile to himself oddly. It's endearing as hell because it's that that lovable smile.
So that's the only reason? You're gonna be this happy every time you come visit?
Oh. Yeah.
I think I lost you for that.
Well, maybe.
Oh. And for what it's worth, she does have the flower still somehow desperately clinging its way into her hair. For all that she has been hard at work.
Let's just say a smile can make a whole lot of difference in everything.
Just like you teased me for. It's the little things.
Yeah. Again, that fond. It's. You can roll a peony. I'll let you roll a peony.
You can let me do that? I'm so thoughtful.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my. Oh, helps them in the right place.
Yeah, it does. You get 2.
Ooh.
Rides is a jolly guy, but this is hope. It's written all over his face. This innocent, childlike, innocent hope.
She looks up and is kind of studying a little bit here and there, not full on staring at him because that's rude, but stealing glances, and finally puts on a faint smile of her own, reaches up again and just like, again, just kind of fondly pats one of the exceptionally hairy cheeks. Well, whoever smiled at you, I hope they do it again.
Me too. It's been too long since I've seen that smile.
Was it her?
It doesn't say anything.
Seen in a long time.
He doesn't say anything, but that the way he looks down and smiles, and you swear beneath the big shaggy ginger cheeks you see a small tint of a blush.
Oh, her smile blooms out for him. And she leans in, and again, she's sitting across the lap, not like facing him, not facing away, but she leans over and hooks the closer arm around him. I'm glad. I don't think I've ever seen you so happy.
Means I did the right thing by going out there on that raid.
Is it?
Means whatever I'm doing, it's working.
He gives a light nod because he's drawn it a bit further than she might have, but there's no point in shaking him off it, really.
Means she's aware.
I can't imagine she wouldn't know you.
She does, but this was different. This was way different. It was like she was looking right at me again.
Good.
For that briefest of seconds, it was like she was back.
How long has it been?
A year and a half now. She even smiled and then said my name.
She'll just lean over, like, so she's got, still the arm around him, but her cheek on his, well, I guess it's more his chest than his shoulder. She's still short as hell, comparatively.
I mean, she went back to her usual self, but 30 seconds.
But she knows you. And she knows you're there. And you're making her happy. Happy as she knows how to be.
Yeah. She takes a long breath. You can feel his heart. You can feel the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do of his heart.
Yeah, with an ear right against his chest, she certainly can. You're taking good care of her. I know you are.
I said I love her. She smiled at me.
Aww.
That's what I mean by she's aware. She rubs his face. He's totally not tearing up. Totally not. Nope.
She's totally not either. It's fine. They're both not tearing up together because that is incredibly sweet.
He just stands up, you know what I mean, rubs his face, like his back towards you.
Yep, she is ejected from the lap, thankfully landing on her feet because it's not that abrupt, I imagine.
No, it's just gently upward.
She just eyes his back for a second. And just walks the step or two difference. Just kind of sets a hand on it, rubbing it, just kind of rubbing across his big back. Maybe she doesn't always know how to show you. But if you've been taking care of her for that long, the same way you're doing it now, how can she not know you love her? She was just able to show you this time.
I never said it before.
All right, it's not about words.
It is for me. All I could think about that fight was her. I even wanted to kill a guy and not chimerically kill him. I brought the axe down and everything. I stopped and only thing I could see was her. Sorry, what did you say? We went way too quiet. I just heard like
It was just a sigh, really. Thoughtful and fairly quiet, but just a bit of a sigh.
Daniel, don't mind me. He doesn't turn to face you. You can just see him shake his head.
She'll snake a look around him. Essentially, like, she's already standing close enough to touch his back, so it's just kind of a lean forward and glance up.
Again, that innocent hope mixed with just a bit of sorrow, yes, but also just such vindication and just this child, this innocent, joy. He kind of doesn't know how to express that.
She snakes around, not really snakes. She just kind of slips around him and, again standing in front of him, holds up her hands as if like wanting to touch his face for some reason. Just
Stares
kind of
down.
stretches up to see if he'll respond.
He just stares down at her. You can see he's like clocked on what you're doing. He just gives you a frown.
There's a little tilt of the head, like, what's the worst I could do, essentially.
Just leans his face down.
She'll just, gently put a hand on either cheek and land a peck of a kiss on the end of his nose. So laugh or cry. These are the things you should indulge in. And no one here's gonna look at you funny.
Not yet.
You can celebrate a small victory.
I am. But I'm saving that type of stuff for the big one.
Dare say you'll do a lot more than a little laugh or a couple tears over the big one.
Probably.
And she does let his cheeks go immediately after she's given him the peck on the nose. And she just reaches up and again puts, like, a hand up on his upper arm. She can't reach the shoulder. You don't have to turn around. Just enjoy it.
I am.
Then why'd you turn away?
Just part of me is still getting used to this is what I'm going to get for a while.
You can cry too.
I'm happy, but looking at it realistically, it weighs heavy.
So don't. When it hits you, if it hurts, then cry. If it hits you and you're just so happy you don't know what else to do, you can cry. I'm not going to judge you.
Can't be crying just yet, Bambi.
Just seems wrong to keep it in.
Gotta keep my focus.
I know.
Got a job to do, remember? He puts his hand on her face again, very softly, very delicately.
I know. And we'll do it.
Just nod. Besides, I thought I'd come tell you anyway.
In your roundabout, not telling kind of way?
Mm-hmm.
And it teases him with a smile.
Mm-hmm. Just gives a smile.
I'm glad. And I'm glad that I'm someone you can tell.
I'm gonna have to meet her eventually.
It's fine. It's not like it's a chore.
I know, but you're gonna have to prepare yourself.
I don't think there's any amount of preparation that can keep me from hurting for someone.
It's a shock more than anything.
She rolls in her lips a bit and kind of nods understanding.
Grace is beautiful. Even as beautiful as you, Bambi. But what they did. Looks down.
Well, this time she won't reach up. She'll instead, whether the hand is still up on her face or is hanging by his side, will just reach out and it's a very gentle, almost childlike taking hold of like his big fingers. Just enough to know there's someone there without trying to stir him out of it or stir more reaction.
It's better than it was when in the first few months. Things have healed. To a point.
I don't want to be forward enough to say you should bring her here, but have you brought her anywhere like this?
Not yet. I'm too nervous to bring her outside. She's weak.
That's a nod of understanding. I understand. And this place is very open. Kind of glances around the little grove.
She likes looking out the window and looking at the birds.
Birds, huh?
Yeah.
She just kind of casts a thoughtful eye, up around. There's, summer greenery really flushing out the trees. Okay.
She's a puka.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a fox. Looked like a fox. I say quietly.
And the captured hand, as much as she has, quote, captured it, it's a very light squeeze.
You would have liked her.
I'm sure I will like her.
Not the old her, we'll say for now. Before the accident. Called an accident.
I'm sure I would have.
Fiery. Gave me a run for my money.
Like the two of you in a room were more personality than I could have handled, anyways.
Yeah. Do you want to know the horrible thing I realized?
What's that?
She didn't tell them a damn thing.
What was there to tell?
We've been doing works and odds and ends, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She could have told where several other places were, where they would have raided more. She didn't tell them a damn thing. That's why they tortured her so badly.
But she's back with you now.
She's getting there.
Slowly. And sometimes these things are slow, but she's healing. At least you know that.
Like I said, she was barely there when I found her.
And now she can look at you and smile.
Even if it is for 30 seconds.
And she kind of idly, it's a thoughtless sort of gesture, just picks up his massive, like, busted knuckled hand and just very briefly, like, it's barely even a kiss. It's just very, very briefly sets her lips to the knuckles. Small victories.
Just nod slowly. Like here. Caravan, small victory.
Do they mean that much to you?
Yeah.
I suppose I wouldn't know. Never stayed in one.
Home. She and I used to live in one. He smiled to himself. She used to nag at me going, we need to get a bigger place, but I was happy in my caravan. We used to sit outside and watch the birds and all that together.
I mean, if you think about it, if it's like the ones I've seen, where you can put up an awning, once you step out the door, it's as big as the whole outside.
Pretty much. A grin.
Mm.
But they burnt that down.
Well, soon you will have another, and it will be powder blue.
Periwinkle blue.
Periwinkle blue. Light blue.
Periwinkle blue.
Oh,
It's your favorite color.
good. And she's looking more and more thoughtful, not especially mischievously so, just kind of looking around at the various greenery and whatnot thoughtfully. Well, I'm glad to hear. I'm glad you're happy. I'm glad she's showing improvement, showing you she's healing. Even if it's slow, even if it's small. Small things can be the most important things.
It can.
It's too easy to miss them.
So I have you as well.
Well, she kind of looks down at herself. I suppose I count as a small thing.
You do.
It's kind of teasingly.
You do.
It's too easy to overlook them. Gives his hand
I
another squeeze and finally lets it go.
pulls her back, so she like wraps around his arms around her essentially.
She is yoinked and oomphs into his chest. It doesn't seem to have any issue with being there. Just kind of reflexively picks her own arms up around him.
Let's just stay like this for a while.
It's just a very, very mellow, very easygoing sigh. Okay. I like this.
I just wanna enjoy the quiet for a bit.
There'll be a light nod, and she just gives him a squeeze, but just stays there. Pressed up against his front, just holding on. Being warm.
He just stays silent, looking out at the trees, and just lets out. You can even feel the deep sigh.
Yep, she can feel it. She can probably hear it. I imagine she's got to turn her head, kind of set an ear to his stomach. And she'll listen. Eyes kind of half lidded as she's paying almost no attention externally, but just listening, waiting to hear his heart, whether it mellows, whether it slows a bit, whether it just stays hammering.
Just beats away, boom, 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 in this very contented way.
Strong, but not.
Almost like
rapid.
it's bumping. It's almost like it's thumping like a beat. Da-doom, 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 da-doom. You know what I mean? This jolly sort of beat to it.
Yeah, she will just happily, contentedly stay there because, well, she doesn't have as much trouble as most when it comes to appreciating simple pleasures. Being held close is just deeply comforting. She's happy to stay there.
Do you want to call it there, Katie?
Yeah, I think so. Them being adorable.